Coming up on the next episode. Good Tuesday morning to you all, YouTube. It is 10:45 now in the AM. Sorry, didn't mean to bump the camera, but I did. You can see my nemesis is here. After making a 40+ minute part 2 to this yesterday, I have scrapped that completely. I know, that's a lot of video and a lot of work and a lot of effort down the drain, but there's a reason for that. You may think I'm insane, but I'm not. Well, I may be, but that's not the reason. Let me zoom in a little bit closer to that if I can. This. You see there's a black wire here. That was here. It was not here. That was part of my problem. And I made that whole 40+ minute video with it over here, thinking it should be there. But then I got to thinking about it. And this is actually, I'm going to try to show this on the schematic. This is actually one side of the output transformer. The actual place that it's hooked up now is the center of that same transformer. Of course, you have the other side over here. So basically, it was kind of hooked to the same spot because, after all, the transformer primary is one solid piece of wire. So as far as B plus is concerned, B minus or whatever you want to call it, that's it's essentially the same spot. So it really shouldn't affect too much of the power, of this. But obviously it was wrong, so I got that corrected now. I really thought my problems would be more solved than they are. But this other item that I deemed to need correcting was the transistor lead. You may recall it came down through here and connected to several different traces there. Obviously that's not connected any longer, and that is a problem because this transistor here, this is again the and I've called this wrong, I think, before. I think I called this the collector. This is actually the collector, I believe. Because if you look at how the trace goes down through here, it comes down to that point where that negative wire was connected, or one side of the output transformer. And that's where the collector should normally, if we look at the schematic again, that's where the collector should normally connect, is to the end of the one side of the transformer. And we can actually go to the other transformer or transistor. I get these trans words mixed up. Here, these three leads here, this middle one here goes right to the no, that's the wrong one. It's this one here. Okay, yeah, this one here goes to the other side of the transformer. So that would be the collector for the other transistor. So that's how they're set up, and that's how they're supposed to be working. So I'm going to call that the collector, and this is the emitter, I'm going to say. So if that's the case, this is being the emitter of the other, not the emitter, the base. This is the base here because it comes off of the transformer, the interstage or phase inverter, and that's what I was the name I was trying to come up with. Phase inverter transformer comes up to here. So this point here, I think I had my points wrong on these, But this is actually the base of the transistor. That would make this the collector of the transistor, and this the emitter of the transistor. Now the emitter, if you can see, connects to that middle center tap of that transformer, and that's where it's supposed to connect. If we look at the, again, we look at the, what do you call it? Well, I've got a little bit different, but anyway, that's the problem. These, the one I've got shown is not the one I'm going to be using. There are several of these Japanese transistor radio schematics out there, and the whole thing I'm trying to come up with here is, I'm getting way off subject. I'm going to map out this one as it is wired now, and then try to find a schematic that it is very close to, and then we'll go from there. Like I said, my biggest problem here is not having any power going to this transistor here. Now, I'm sure that's what that lead here did. It went down to connect to the other, probably the other emitter, which was basically here. And although I don't see any places where it would have connected. But anyway, it did connect to something over here and got power. Now, since I've connected this the other way, I've just taken a clip lead and went from here over to here, and I do get a nice click out of the speaker now. That's something I never got before. So at least I'm making progress. So anyway, my whole thing of this video is I'm going to basically disconnect these wires here, because I know where these go, and I'm going to take this radio, just the radio part, into the living room, and I'm going to trace all this out. I'm going to make a schematic for just this radio, and I'm going to find out exactly the way it's supposed to be. In other words, I know how it works. I've got enough examples on Japanese radio transistor radio schematics that I can see how it should work, and I want to find out how it gets power, as far as getting power to the transistors. And I know there's a resistor underneath there, this one here. I'm sure that's probably where the power comes from to power the transistors, because that's really the only thing around here. And if you look at this, this is just completely void of most everything. There's no capacitors. There's no real resistors except for that one, and And then there's this thing here. That is a transistor. And Bob was asking. I've shown him, and Bob was asking if that was the detector, but the detector is actually over here, and that's actually where it should be, because if you think about it, you got the converter here for your transistor. This is your oscillator coil here for the oscillator, obviously. This is your first IF, and this is your IF transistor. And this is your second IF. Now, when I say first and second, I'm talking about transformers, not the stages, because this is only one stage. But again, this is first transistor, second transformer, and the detector. And that's what that's the way how that's laid out. So again, that's how that works. Now, this one here, I'm not really sure about. It's a possibility that this may be an RF type transistor. I doubt it. But this one here may be the converter. I don't know. It's very possible. But you notice this has got a black, it's painted black on top for some reason. I'm not really sure about that. This may be one of them transistors that are not really used. As may this one. It may be one of these that were added for count. But I'm going to try to map this one in too, if it does actually map in. And go from basically the volume control through the coupling cap to the driver. And I know for a fact that these all connect and they do work. So you have a couple resistors here. There's the jumper I added right there. And I don't know that that's even right either. But, again, that's what I did to get it to work somewhat. And I'm sure these are the push-pull transistors because of the way they're wired in and where they connect to on this. So this one here is really kind of a mystery. So that's one of the things I'm going to be mapping out, or mapping in, whatever. And again, I just think this is incomplete. I don't think this is right. Because one resistor, and that just doesn't make sense to me. Because most of the ones you see, if you look at them, they have several, well, no, I'll take that back. In that stage, if you look at just the one that's up on the thing now, there is just one resistor, and it goes between the two emitters. Basically, the emitters are tied together, and it connects both of the emitters together with the power. And or in this case, let's see if it's power or I can't tell. Yeah, it is power. It's the plus anyway. So that's how that's connected. So again, that's a possibility. That's the way that's wired, and that may be all that's necessary to power that circuit. So if that is, then that would explain why that. But why all this extra? That made no sense, and it would make a little bit more sense on why they had this lead draped across here to get the power. But at the same time, this is a poor design, if you ask me, because you got all this extra stuff here, and really it's not doing anything because it's obviously not connected to anything. So anywho, those wily Japanese. Is what it is, I guess. But that's what I'm going to do. So I wanted to make this video just to explain what's happening to the North American transistor radio, and why I didn't actually post that part 2 that I made. I did actually put it all together and had it up on YouTube. And then after I found out, I came back in here and I thought about it. I thought, no, I know that's not right, because that's just not the way it should be wired. And I got to looking at my original footage from this when I first before I even soldered anything like that, and it's clear that this negative was connected here instead of here. So that's where I'm going by, and like I said, that's correct now. So. Whew. Another thing about this is going to be one of them radio projects that kind of sit off to the side, and I'm not going to invest a lot of time in it because it's not worth the time I'm putting into it. It's just something as a distraction while I'm waiting for parts for the POG. And I just really didn't want to put the POG all back in the box and get it out of the way, because I figured those parts are not going to take too long to get here, hopefully, from what I've heard. So that's why I didn't do that. I just wanted to go ahead and have this as a distraction or something to do in the meantime while I'm waiting on the parts. So, but again, that's why I'm not posting that other video and why I took it down. And so I think, again, I'm going to take this in the living room and take it all down to the actual circuit. Like I said, from this point to the speaker is what I want to get. Because once I get that and have an operating audio section, then I can concentrate more over here on the radio part, and with the satisfaction of knowing that anything it picks up, at the detector here will be transmitted over here to this and come out the speaker. And that way it gives me that's another thing. This actually worked, and you saw, again, I'm going to reiterate the first video, that it was working. It playing the ball game. Local station. It wasn't loud, but it was working. So that meant the radio was working. And really, the only thing I did was to change that cap there and change that coupling cap. Now, the coupling cap should not have anything to do with the radio not working at all. Now, this, possibly, but again, all I did was to replace it with another capacitor of the same basic value, and I double checked this, and it's supposed to be a full trace across here, And like I said, there's only one place really that the negative could hook up to it, because there's only one hole left there when I hooked it up. So, you know, that was in. The only other thing I did was to change this, because in the meantime, after changing this, I went to power it up and found out this wire had come off, come unsoldered. And when I put it back wrong. But again, that's connected. You know, that primary of that transformer is a solid wire. I mean, it may be in a coil, but it's a solid wire as far as DC is concerned. And like I say, it should have worked. But at that point, I thought, well, okay, something's wrong up here. So I removed the coupling cap, and then I started tracing it out, and I still couldn't get any radio out of it. So I've done something to it that I didn't even know I did, apparently. But like I said, that's neither here nor there. I got to trace this out. That's the next operation involved in this, and I know I'm flapping way too much, and I don't mean to do that, but I feel like the need to I feel the need to explain myself, I guess, is what I'm saying. But that's that. Now, other things happening. I have 2 items out for delivery today. One is a camera that I bought. It's one that Bill, the old 64 Goat, had bought recently. The I can't think of the. It's a Kodak. It's a one that's got the play sport. That's what it is. Kind of like that. I thought, you know, that was kind of neat. I really needed one to kind of be a backup for my this camera here, because you know, I'm no fool. I think, you know, one day this thing's going to crap out, and I really like this. I use this a lot for different things, and this is my go-to camera as far as quick video on this or that, and I just wanted to have one for a backup, and that little PlaySport will do just fine for that. So, plus we're going on vacation. You guys may recall, supposed to be in, I think my daughter said last of July, I believe she said. It is a waterproof, I think, to 3 meters, so that covers about any swimming pool 10 feet deep. So I may have one of the kids take some underwater footage and see how that looks, and might play around with that. I don't know, we'll see. That's just another thought of that. But so that's coming. And now the other item is the little bastard. Now I think Bill likes it when I say little bastard. I think Bill just enjoys that name because of that. So there you go, Bill. The little bastard is coming, and it's out for delivery also. And so that will be another good distraction in place of this. It shouldn't take me long to get the circuitry down for this, because it's all the traces are there. I mean, you can see them, and if there's something hooked to them, obviously I'm going to put them in the what do you call it? But if not, then I don't know what else to do. They're just there, just kind of flapping in the breeze, as I like to say. But anyway, the little bastard will be a little fun project, hopefully, to get that working. We're going to be using the BDST on that, and I don't know yet what else, but I do have, and I don't know how much I've mentioned this, but I do have a replacement coming for the frequency counter and the function generator. Again, I don't know if I've even mentioned that or not, but if I did, I'm going to kind of repeat myself. Sorry. This section here is not going to be used for the scope. I've decided it's a portable scope. It doesn't need to be in here at all. And that's the way I'm going to use it, as a portable scope. And that's one of the things I may be using on these transistor radios. I may go back into, instead of using the BDST so much, I'm going to may try the scope. I've been wanting to use the BDST probe, auto sensing probe, as a demodulation type probe for the scope, to see how well that works. That would be kind of interesting to see if that works. So I may be doing an experiment with that. Again, all this this stuff here won't be necessary. I still have the one for the voltmeter, but the rest of this will be gone. It will not be necessary at all. So that's that. The device that I have coming here is probably bigger than both of these, and this will have to be redesigned completely, but that's okay because I like the device I have coming back, and I will put a picture of that in somewhere along here and show you that that's what I have coming. It is a 60 megahertz frequency counter, and I believe the function generator goes up to 10 megahertz. So that's what I've got coming, and that should be the part I like about it is you get a readout. Either way, you have as far as the function or the frequency counter, you get, of course, you get to read out with that. And as far as the function generator, it has a readout of the frequency that it is outputting. So that will be handy a lot more than this, because I never can tell what frequency this is on. And I just left it at audio to keep it like it was, and you know, plus I didn't like the fact that the wires ran under here, came out here. On the new one, as you can look at it, all the BNC jacks are on top of it, and they will be plugged in that way. There's no wires underneath other than power, and I can use the same power wire for one or the other of the frequency counter or the function generator as the power lead for the new one, and that's all that will be necessary. So again, I will redo this bezel here, and I may make it a two-parter. I might try to do something like that. I don't know. We'll see. It just depends on how best way to do it is. But that was another thing I didn't like about this function generator. These knobs kept falling off. So that's going to be out. And again, that frequency counter didn't work right anyway, so that's gone. So that's that. That's the MFP version 2, I guess, is 2.0. That will be coming along as well. So that's a Chinese thing that I ordered. So it is a speed pack delivery. So they use. All right. Well, it timed out after I was talking about the speed pack delivery. So again, that speed pack does have tracking, so it's easier to follow along with. And like I say, it generally gets here quicker than just the plain old Chinese economy shipping. So that's good. So that's really all I wanted to say about that. I'd already talked long enough, obviously. Made the camera timeout. So I'm gonna end it here, and I'm gonna say you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see ya.